Hey everybody, this is Scoots here. This message is for people who support the show on Sleep With Me Plus. So if you're hearing this message and you support the show on Sleep With Me Plus, you shouldn't be hearing this message because this is in the ad-supported feed that I'm running this message. So please get all your Sleep With Me Plus content set up. It should be in your email if you just search for Sleep With Me Plus or Supercast in your email. You could always reach me through the contact form on our website because I don't want you missing out. You have every episode as it comes out, ad-free, the full episode. Then every episode as it comes out, the story-only episode in a separate story-only podcast. There's bonus shows, read with me shows. If you support it, if you're a Boar Bestie or Boar Friend, you got all intros come out twice a month, an all-night compilation, like a 4-hour compilation episode. And those feeds go so far back. We designed Sleep With Me Plus with super listeners in mind, or super fans or people that love the podcast. So if you listen all night long, you know what's perfect? The ad-free episodes. If you fall asleep fast, you've got so many options. Story-only episodes, but you don't have to worry about anything interrupting, especially if you fall asleep fast. You can really build your playlist however you listen, if you listen a lot, but make sure you have everything set up. And also, if you haven't checked out Sleep With Me Plus, you know there is a 7-day trial, so check it out and test that out. Test out the story-only episodes if you listen all night long. If you fall asleep fast, test out the ad-free feed. If you love all intros, check out all intros. I think there's 200-300 episodes. In the bonus feed, there's like on some Saturdays, we put out a Posty Super Deluxe, which is experimental takes on episodes. There's Fearless Flyer episodes that have only been released on Sleep With Me Plus and Patreon. There's Ray episodes. There's tons of stuff to discover, and all your old favorites are there. And you could do all that if you have. Oh, actually, either way, go to sleepwithmepodcast.com/plus. You could sign up for a trial, or then you could log in and get everything set up right there. Go to sleepwithmepodcast.com/plus. If you're already supporting the show there, log in, add all of those podcasts to your podcast app, and you're good to go. Thanks, everybody.
This show is supported by Odoo. When you buy business software from lots of vendors, the costs add up and it gets complicated and confusing. Odoo solves this. It's a single company that sells a suite of enterprise apps that handles everything from accounting to inventory to sales. Odoo is all connected on a single platform in a simple and affordable way. You can save money without missing out on the features you need. Check out Odoo at odoo.com. That's odoo.com.
Friends beyond the binary, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it's time for a podcast. I just cleaned my car, actually, not any. Do you believe I don't think my car has a name. I drove through someplace with a car with no name. My car keeps me out of the rain. Sorry, I don't normally rhyme, but it's the beginning of the podcast. Welcome to Sleep With Me, by the way. The podcast that puts you to sleep is our tagline. Been making this show for around 10 years now, and I'm so happy if you're listening for the first time or you're listening for the 1200th time. I mean, I'm sure there's people who've listened tens of thousands of times, because if you see like the Spotify stats at the end of the year, you could see how many people listen a lot, 10 episodes a night. But it's really my honor to get to make this show, and I get to do it because of the support of listeners who the podcast works for. Now, this podcast is very different. So if you're new here, I just want to give you a heads up. This show is very different. Strange. It's not traditionally soothing. It's barely never going anywhere. And it does take a couple tries to get used to. That's what about 1 million people have said to me over the past 10 years. It took me 2 or 3 tries. That's the most medium temperature version. It took 2 or 3 tries for me to get used to the show. First, I didn't know what I was listening to, or I was waiting for it to get sleepy and stuff. So give it a few tries, see how it goes, and make the show for you, if the show's going to work for you. And there is a lot of people who works for it. It doesn't work for everybody, but I so hope it works for you. Because the podcast is designed to keep you company and cut through some of that loneliness in the deep, dark night, and to take your mind off whatever's keeping you awake so you could fall asleep. The show doesn't exactly put you to sleep. It's your friend in the deep, dark night, because you deserve a good night's sleep. You deserve the rest you need. So I am so glad you're here. I am so proud I get to make this podcast. And what we got coming up, there's sponsor stuff. That's how the show gets to be free. You don't got to pay for it unless you really want to. Then there's a long meandering intro, which is separate from the sport. I just got somebody that really gave me the old strong impression thing. The intro is not it doesn't have any sponsor stuff in it. It is a show within a show. You really don't want to miss out on it. It's meant to ease you into bedtime. It's a bit silly. It's a bit goofy. Maybe I'll talk about washing my car. And you say, okay, that's something I could fall asleep to probably. And probably some personal admissions, but mostly it just eases you into bedtime. Then there's support. Then there's our bedtime story. Tonight I'll be watching a silent movie and rambling on and on about him. Or maybe more than one movie. Depends on how long. I got a couple of different ideas I'm percolating on. I'll probably record it tomorrow. But when you hear this, it'll be all together for your convenience. You don't have to wait till tomorrow for me to keep going on and on and on. So that's it. I'm so glad you're here. And I really hope I can help you fall asleep. And these sponsors are how we're able to do it for free twice a week. All right, buddy. Scoots here. This is our third Buster Keaton episode I'm recording. I think this will come out as the third episode. It is a seasonal episode, though. And but I did want to say also that it's extremely high concept. I'm not going to read the high concept, but when people talk about high concept, sometimes that's a word you hear people say, like high concept comedy or high concept idea. This one is incredibly, to me, high concept. And I don't know where the definition came from. I'm sure Rusty Biscuit's looking it up and we'll put it in the notes for the show. But high concept is like, Sleep With Me usually has high concepts, which I guess you'd say, what does high concept mean? Could you explain it to me? And I would say, I'm laughing because I'd say, well, initially it sounded like, did you come up with that concept when you were high? You must have been high when you came up with that concept. I mean, that's not actually what it means, but it's technically, if you say, can you explain it to me like I guess a 5-year-old wouldn't know. Yeah, like explain it to me like I'm 5. But if you say, explain it to me like I'm an adult and I have the maturity of a 5-year-old, you'd say, well, it sounds like it's a concept, an idea that sounds like somebody was high when they came up with it. Hardy har har. But like I say, Sleep With Me usually has high concept ideas. That doesn't mean grand concept. So that's what I mean when you say, were you high when you came up with that? I was not. And when any of these ideas for Sleep With Me. So like the idea of big farm in the sky, PI, is someone is in the big farm and they want to be a PI. And then they go back into the regular earthbound world and get help from their niece and their niece's best friend. You'd say, sounds like you were high when you came up with that concept. That's kind of a high concept. So this one, I won't read the concept because it's out there, but it is seasonal. It's called, it has other different titles, but the title I'm going with is The House of Trick or Treating. So I'm going to start it here. I think it's about 20 minutes long. So we'll see if we've supplemented or where we'll go. But yeah, The House of Trick or Treating starts off. So it's Buster Keaton in The House of Trick or Treating. And I don't have the year it came out in. Buster Keaton and Eddie Klein, written and directed. And it starts off, and this one, the version I'm looking at has plenty of film grain. And it starts off with a card that says Wall Street. Here we go, alliteration. The palatial parking place of the bull and the bear, mostly the bull. So let's just, since I already paused it, let's see if there's a Wikipedia page for it, without getting into the, it's 1921. I want to look some facts. Looks like at some point there's a theatrical poster where it looks like it was colorized. It's 21-minute, it's a 2-reel silent comedy film. Let's look up 2-reel silent comedy. Oh, That's comedy film. Too real. A short film is any motion picture where its running time. Let's see if it refers to reels in here. History. All films at the beginning of cinema, this is from Wikipedia, were very short, sometimes running only a minute or less. It took till 1910s when they got longer than 10 minutes. Some early films went through the kinetoscope. Comedy films were produced in large numbers compared to lengthy features. And by the 1920s, where we're at, a ticket purchased a varied program, including a feature and several reporting works from categories, such as a second feature, short comedy, and 4 to 11-minute cartoon travelogue and newsreel. Short comedies were especially common, or serials or series, animated cartoons, then in the 30s, which we're not in the 30s, so it's 2 reels, so I guess each reel was about 10 minutes. It was written by Edward F. Klein, who we haven't looked up, screenwriter, actor, writer, best known for work with W.C. Fields and Buster Keaton from Kenosha, Wisconsin. And, Klein also relatable life, interesting. Him and Keaton both struggled with things I struggled with. Klein began working for Keystone Studios in 1914, supported Charlie Chaplin in some shorts. Then Buster Keaton started making his own shorts after working with Roscoe Arbuckle, hired Klein as his co-director, and they were gag men. And Klein is credited with originating Keaton's personal favorite gag from his films, where, I don't know, it's in a different movie, so I don't know if we'll cover it. And then Klein in the 30s started working with Fields, and goes on and on and on, but I just wanted to look that up. Okay, back to the House of Trick-or-Treating. Okay, Buster Keaton, Virginia Fox, Joe Keaton, Joe Roberts, and Edward Klein are the stars. Came out in February of 1921. Silent, has intertitles. We don't need to get into the plot. Plot is very timeless, too, as we'll see, especially in film. Legacy. This belongs to a more simplistic area of comedic storytelling. It doesn't work really today, except for in a sleep podcast, by the way. But it has a certain amount of naive charm. Except for the past 2 decades, this has been a staple of a genre of storytelling, like part of the high concept, or maybe all of it. So I don't know. I mean, I definitely recognize it from like some animated stuff. But yeah, I think that's it. So for now, okay. So we open with the palatial parking place, the Bull and the Bear. Mostly the Bull. That's Wall Street. And we're going to have to pause it again because there's something coming up that I have to look up. Okay, so first we see like a raised wide shot, and we zoom down on what we can presume is Wall Street. There's people, there's cars. It's 1920. It's definitely bustling. New York is not the only town that has a mastermind of finance. Okay, then we do one of those things where fades, where it's like a circle and the circle grows, and we see, I guess what you could consider a limousine pulling up, and there's not just a limousine, but there's a person there's someone driving and there's someone opening the door. So it's 2 separate jobs. And then who falls out of the limousine, which I did not expect. I thought it was going to be the heavy or whatever, but it's Buster Keaton, hat in hand. He's got a walking stick, and he goes to First National. Oh, good. This has you watching on different sites. It does have, I'm able to jump back. And I don't understand this. So this is only 45 seconds into the movie here. Well, that's when he falls out of the car. He tries to hide his embarrassment. So at 50 seconds, he walks up to a bank, First National, which I think a popular name. It's open from 9 a.m. till 3 p.m., according to the sign on the door. But there's a lock on the door that has a bottle cap over it, which I don't understand. Wait, here's more about the Mark Hamilton is also uncredited in this movie. Not Mark Hamill, but Mark Hamilton. Okay, so bottle cap door lock. I don't think this is going to work out. No. This is a bottle lock. So I don't know. It seems to be, so over the lock on the door to the bank is like a bottle cap like you'd have in a beer or a bottle of soda. Now, I guess this makes sense as far as like, if he knows no one else is going to have a bottle crimper, a bottle capper. So he first has to pop the bottle top on the door and then uses his key to unlock the door. He also has gloves in his hands. So he's wearing gloves. He goes in to the bank. And now this is an old school bank. And obviously it's a set from a movie, but he's got a decent amount of keys and a bottle capper. He does not, he just shuts the door behind himself. He goes into the bank, and it does look like a bank from movies. So like there's a stand-up place where you can fill out your deposit slips. And I realize, and this is going to be funny to some people, there's probably a lot of people listening right now that haven't been in a bank. And to be honest, I have no idea the last time I was in a bank. Oh, no, I do. So the last time I was in a bank was, and it was like it was Buster Keaton-esque, because most of the time when I go in a bank, there's like multiple things being spilled and dropped. And this was not dissimilar. And now banks are more, at least the bank I went to, which is credit union technically. I went into the branch. First of all, I get to get through a couple doors, which is hard enough for me. And then I have, like, I'll be honest, like I don't use my bank like in person, and I don't really use a lot of cash. So I'm very unfamiliar with a number, and I have dyslexia. So I said, please let this card just get me everything. I have my ID and my card. So, because I have no idea my account number or any of those things. And also I didn't need to withdraw money in certain denominations. And the reason I needed to do that was because I was doing this thing. I don't know if I talked about it on the show. It was an idea, did not pan out. But I went on vacation with family members to a theme park a while ago, but, whatever, like early in the year, so a while ago for me when I'm recording this. And I had this memory of like getting cash when we would go to a theme park, and I was old enough to explore on my own and be like, well, here's your money for your lunch and dinner. So that's how much money you get. And, you could spend it however you want, but don't, this is your money to spend for the day to feed yourself. And there's something magical about having that control, I thought, as a kid. So I thought I would do that for kids and adults, but with an assignment. So that's one thing. People don't like assignments on vacation. So I was like, okay, each day I'm going to give everybody in the group a different amount of cash. And everybody at the night will report back at how they spent their cash. We didn't have a formal reporting back time. And then it was also hard because everybody has a different amount of wanting to be participating in the production of giving the answers. And, I'm like, I have my producer brain. So it's like, whoa, you only get 2 minutes each. I didn't actually establish those parameters. So it could have used more prep, but it didn't work out. But I needed like singles, quarters, fives, and tens. I think that was like the different Most of them were like $3, $5, maybe $7, maybe $1 or $2 in quarters that I was giving out. So that's why I was in the bank the last time. So anyway, Buster Keaton goes into the bank, goes through a teller window because he's obviously there to work. He has the keys, right? Then he goes up to the, what is that thing called? The safe. And it's a big, giant safe or whatever, a vault. I guess it's a vault. I can't read the sign on it right now. Oh, no, it says time. It's not totally can't get into this. It's got a time lock. And then he hangs his walking stick with the hook up and then hangs his hat on the hook next to the thing. Okay, so that's interesting as far as like a storytelling thing, because we see the safe and we see or the vault and then we see the sign on the vault, which gives us information. But then he moves on. And then there's a wipe to two other characters in a building, one of whom is very tall, and he's all like suited and has a mustache. And I don't know if back then they put mustaches only on people you're supposed to not identify with. Maybe this leads us back to like why you couldn't work at a theme park if you had a mustache. Silent, because what's his name was born in the silent film era. All those it's just interesting. You see, did you watch too many Buster Keaton movies? Is that why I can't have a beard at my job? So these two also have canes or walking sticks, which is interesting only because of when I'm recording this. I think this is maybe a fashion thing. And then maybe this is too far afield, but I've recently, I go running or hiking. I go trail running, but I'm not actually running. I'm jogging. So I'm not trying to brag because you'd say a turtle would literally blow by me if I was trail running. And I did also do it hiking one time when it was really hot. And I said, I think I just did the same pace hiking as I did running, which is fine because I enjoy it and I get a lot out of it. But so a lot of it I do in the hills, at different hills in the Bay Area, at the parks. And, I say like I'm a bit clumsy. There's a lot of hills. I'm not always paying the best attention. And, time is passing in my life. And honestly, I really enjoy this. So I looked into it, and apparently in Europe, all our European listeners that enjoy hiking and trail running, particularly trail running, which is a little bit different than hiking. But in Europe, a lot of trail runners use poles, which a lot of hikers use a pole in the U.S. or poles, similar to ski poles, just in case you're not familiar. And I made the decision recently for my own well-being and enjoyment, and also maybe get a little bit extra arm exercises and be easier on my legs, to start using poles when I run. And part of me is like, that's so embarrassing, Dad, like just my internal teen. But another part of me is like, it's like a new gadget, even though they're only poles. It's like, man, I'm out here with my poles. Check me out. I feel fresh, but we'll see. I mean, I definitely have used them, and I say this does make going downhill makes a big difference as far as stability, and I haven't quite got used to them. I mean, I've got get used to them going uphill, where I'm feeling like it's changed my relationship with the speed or the time or because anyway, so I'm still getting used to it. So it's a little bit more tiring until I get used to it, but I'm looking forward to it. So I don't know, just their canes and their walking sticks, because now we're at 3 people walking with walking stick canes. That sticks out to me, right? Okay, actually, no, I'm wrong. So there's 2 people walking, and they're walking in sync, the person with the mustache, somebody was walking behind him. I thought I saw 2 canes. There's only 1. So then the other person who's a little bit, they're talking. So the person in front with the mustache says, hey, the bank cashier is working with people making copies of money. And they want everybody to believe this house is only for the trick part of trick-or-treating, where you pay and you go through a house and you're tricked with gentle, fun surprises. So again, another story point, even though it's interesting because it says the bank cashier, who I'm assuming is Buster Keaton. I could be wrong, though. But he's saying that, because, I mean, I guess I just going into it with a Buster Keaton assumption, which will make an ass out of Buster Keaton and me, that Buster Keaton's not playing like a heavy or whatever you want to call it. So then they kind of talk. The guy the taller guy's smoking. They got the mustache. And he's very deliberate. You see, they got this stuff here. And the other guy's like, really, boss? Really? Then they're in another room. They do a fade into another room. And he goes, I'll show you what would happen if authority figures showed up and said, do you have, are you fully permitted for a house of trick-or-treating or not? And are you making photocopies of money somewhere? And there's a device. The first device we see is actually like a fantasy thing, I'm assuming, where a bunch of authority figures come in. And I said, holy Kevin McCallister, because they run up the stairs in two groups. There's 1, 2, 3, 4. They say, come on. And he says, here, see this device? It makes the stairs pull a Kevin McCallister. And then everybody slides down the stairs. And the other guy has his arms crossed. Tell me again, boss. Tell me again. Okay, so there you go. 4 up the stairs. They call, hey, all our buddies, come on up the stairs. 5 or 6 more. And they all slide down into a pile together. And then they run out. I say, who hired you, by the way? Oh, my gosh. So really good one, Ed. Got another, what famous person does this, the sidekick look like? Because he goes, this is at like, what is this, 1 minute after all the authority figures slide down the stairs, 1:44. The person is listening as his boss tells him all about it. And he says, oh boy, he looks like someone, not sure exactly who. Then they go back, they're having an in-depth discussion about this, they're plotting, I guess. So much so that at least when it's paused, the assistant person, who has a very long coat on, his hands are tightly clasped. Oh yeah, he says, oh, well, we're going to get him. Then we see who can we call this character? Straw Hat McGee come out of the house. He's strutting then. He's carrying his cane. Oh, by the way, if you ever want to visit this house, it's 26, somewhere on a street, 2619. 2619 on somewhere street. He goes out, opens the gate. The house has a nice gate. He twirled his mustache twice, both sides. This is Sleep With Me's first mustache twirling, I believe. First at 1:52, he touches his mustache. And then he walks out of the house. There's palm trees, so kind of a giveaway that this is L.A. maybe. And then, yeah, at 2 minutes exact, they said at 2 minutes exactly, we need the story's going well. If you got mustache twirling at 2 minutes, within the first 2 minutes of the film. Okay, then another... first off, Buster Keaton is now, the work day's commenced because he has a flower on his lapel. His hair is looking good. And he's like doing his job as the clerk. But what we've seen is what do you call that? Vehicle of these Buster Keaton movies is that failed romance and his ability to play he's like a romantic foil. So he's like looking at the deposit slip, I guess, or it's a withdrawal slip. Okay, well, this is interesting. She must be early at the bank. The bank's not open because she says, yeah, I got to get the money out. He says the bank doesn't open till 9, or the time lock doesn't open till 9 o'clock. I said, bro, why are you working? If the bank's not open, why are you working anyway? It's 9, I don't know, 6, 7, it's 8 o'clock. I don't know what this guy's doing. The bank's not open yet. or it's 8 p.m. and the bank has been closed for 5 hours. And she does this move very, what do you call that? Well, anybody that knows who Sting is, Sting was in, this is just another trope, an assumption. So I'm just using Sting as an imaginary object of assumption. But there was a time where Sting was associated with a form of romance called some sort of transcendent romance. I know I'm misquoting a lot of stuff, but I think that transcendent romance between two partners involved being in one another's close vicinity without contact. And this one is really done well. I mean, I'm not kidding. My back started sweating because she leans in to his face closely and looks him in the eye, like with a serious look, and then leans in a little bit closer, like she's going to kiss him, but just close enough that you could detect the other person's, and he's like, are we about to kiss? This is at 2 minutes and 20 seconds. And then he he says, whoa, boy, I'm getting woozy here. And then she signs her deposit or withdrawal slip. And then we see, oh boy, is this time lock totally foolproof? Because he stands up on a table or something, which is wobbly, opens the glass of the clock and moves it ahead an hour. And then then we get a comedic sequence where it's spring loaded, so it opens. And she was withdrawing a full stack, which I don't even know how much a full stack is or what the stack was. Also, I don't know, in 1921, those are some Dorothy Castle, oh, wait a second. I missed that part. But the bills look a bit more rectangular than the ones we use today. And because I went to school here in the U.S., I'm like, wait a second, was money different in the 1920s? It looks like double size. Okay, so she signs her deposit slip. I don't know how much she took out. Dorothy Castle or Grace, I can't read her handwriting. Dorothy something, G or C-A-S-S-I-L. So she's making an A-S-S-I-L out of somebody, maybe, I don't know. Then she says, Maine 234. Be like, dude, that's the fakest number. I've gotten that as a phone number before. So what's your phone? Would you want to continue this conversation? Sure. Call me, area code 123-456, maybe 456. Oh, okay, great. I'll talk to you then. So, but she's right in her instincts. Cause I think, I said, I would have, this is a fireable thing. He says, Maine 234, eh? So he's a bit of a, maybe he needs to have his little comeuppance. Okay, then we get this maybe, you say, when are we getting to the trick-or-treating, Scoots? And I say, we're only 3 minutes in. Hopefully, we're almost like 30 minutes in the show, but it says, there we get another title card. Although it's a small bank, it has a president, and although he's small in stature, he has a daughter? I don't know what that's supposed to mean. And or maybe it means small in emotional stature. We see his daughter leave. She's dressed really fancy. And then the mustache twirler literally comes in. And then we have, his daughter's not a child, though. So she goes up to him while he's he has more money. I don't know if, and she strikes a little bit of a Catherine O'Hara comedic thing. Then we go back into the president of the bank's office. He's examining money, and the mustache twirler's watching him. And he's like, oh, boss, what is it? Wonder who put this fake money in here. Maybe we should talk to the authority figures. And the boss says, or maybe the boss said that. Oh, wait a second. Wait a second. I missed this. The boss says that because then he gets on the phone. And I think the mustache twirler grabs it. Let's see. He grabbed some other money, actually. Huh. Or maybe more fake money. So this bank definitely needs to fire some people. I don't even know if this guy, the mustache twirler, works at the bank. Also strange, he has his jacket buttoned, but only the bottom button of his jacket. So it's a 3-button jacket. The top 2 buttons are undone. Okay, now 4 people come into the bank. 4 gentlemen. They're in a row. I can't tell if they're together or not. They're making some sort of withdrawal, and including change. And he's counting it out. He's using his he puts his hand in ink. Glue. He thought he was putting it in. So now we're going to get some physical comedy. He was trying to put his finger in the wet stuff to help you count money, but then he put it in glue. So now he does this kind of sequence where everything's sticking to his hands, which has been done a lot before. And then he's handing out the money, which is sticking to people, and they can't throw it off their hands. I don't know why a group of 4 people, it gets worse and worse and worse, though. So it's kind of funny. And, say, okay, wait, dude, you can't work here anymore. I mean, seriously, why do you have glue at your workstation? And then, no glue in the bank. I mean, it's paper. We got paper money in here, but it's pretty funny and a pretty standard thing, including stuck to his shoe, ripping money. Oh boy. And it's good with his face because his face doesn't react, but it does have some quiet desperation to it. And then we see money, glue money everywhere. And on all the 4 people, him, they're doing like an in-sync, this is like a TikTok dance at, time is that at, the 4 patrons are literally it's like I see this barely even on Instagram Reels. And they said, don't touch it because then the music will blare. But this one, it would just be the music. But yeah, 4 customers. It's just one of those, it's just getting worse and worse and worse. What time is that at? I can't pause it. 5:24. Then he puts his hand on his hair to think, I can't believe I glued everything. Then strangely enough, the mustache twirler comes and gives them some other money, and then they leave. And he tells somebody else that works at the bank that has a visor, one of those metal visors. He says, clean up all this ripped up money. You get to it. And that person's also in a suit. So then we get a sequence with him trying to clean up the money. His hair's out of place. Buster Keaton's trying to cut his own hair because his hands are caught in the hair. He successfully does that, actually. This other guy he has hair like me and, what's his name from, why can't I think of his name? But, looks a little bit like Laurel Laurel Hardy. I don't know. I don't think it is, but. So then, Keaton has hot tea water. He's trying to steam the guy, steam the money off him. And they says, what do you want from me? He says, okay, I'll get you steam. I'll steam you free, man. You just take a nap. And he does almost steam him free. No, he does. And then he says, wake up. And the guy shakes his hand, but then they get the money glued together. So pretty long sequence. Okay, then we get it's still going. So then he bows to somebody else, and then I think they're going to get stuck together. So they get their butts stuck together. A new character with a pipe and a bowler hat who's Grouch, clearly. And then they're trying to extricate themselves. The bank is like a big mess now. And Keaton's trying to extricate his hands from the money. Then the one customer says, our butts are stuck together. Also, there's ripped money everywhere in this bank. And Keaton tries to cut their rear ends apart, revealing one of the shots for children, grown men's underpants, seen through a hole in their bottom. So I guess that would have been funny back even then for adults. And then a woman, she can't believe she's seeing his underpants through a hole in his rear end. So she says, I can't believe I'm seeing your underpants. So then he's ashamed and he's trying to cover his butt. Okay, now we see a quick shot of the mustache twirler and the four men that were in the bank earlier outside of the bank having a conference, but it's just a quick shot. We get more of this comedic sequence of Keaton trying to, now he's almost about to cry, I think. Now this is a good one. I mean, it's a little bit more of like playing this up, but he puts his hands in his pockets and then his hands are glued in his pockets. Okay, then the four people that were outside the bank, including the sidekick from earlier, come in. And I guess they say, they seem to be, they're like, actually, we're going to take all this money and all the money on the things. Then they say, raise your hands if you don't, shake your hands above your head like you just don't care. And Buster Keaton says, they're stuck in my pocket. So they're trying to take the gluey money out of the bank. I can't believe this is still high concept when it's like, who is that person? So the sidekick, Buster Keaton's trying to get his pockets off his hands. He does that. And then he one-ups the people trying to take, make an unauthorized withdrawal. And they run out, but then he's holding everything. So then they think he's the one trying to make an unauthorized withdrawal. So he tries to go inside does he try to go in the vault to hide? Yeah, and then they go looking for him. And then it's 3:00. So I think he closes the vault. His shirt's stuck in there. His jacket. He says, I can't go through a jacket. That night, this is the next title card. We're halfway through the movie, which is a good point. Like, it shows this cliffhanger. He's been accused. What's he going to do? But that night, the opera company was doing Faust, and he deserved it. So we get a title sequence. Then we see the play, Faust, playing out in a theater. And the opera, we see the three characters, hand kissing, and the set's not properly constructed. So in the middle of the play, part of the set falls down, which has its own comedic sequence. And a lot of trying to hold the set up. It's only made from cardboard, but the cardboard, cardboard can't stand up even if it has stands. And the character that was supposed to befriend Faust is very upset. Oh, my goodness. So then someone actually throws a cabbage from the audience at the character, the character, red spandex-based characters, at that character. He walks backwards into the, what's that called? The back painting or whatever. That falls down. So we see the back of the theater, and it's a no smoking sign. And then everybody shares their produce with the three performers. So I guess it was just a 3-performer thing. And they leave the theater. Everybody wants a refund. So this is interesting. So there you get your high concept. I mean, part of the high concept. Everybody's chasing them for a refund. Then after searching everywhere, they found him where he was. That's the next title card. So they find him stuck to the vault, and then they're discussing what they're going to do. And then they try to get him, but then he runs away thinking, I don't know what he's thinking. And he runs off. We also see the three characters from Faust running off from the opera, and the sun's setting. And they run by a well, and first, we can't quite see. I think he runs into the house first. And they say, that's the house with tricks and no treats. So we see that. Then it's too dark to see anything. But I think he sees Buster Keaton goes into the house. Oh, and then he turns on the light. And he thought he saw something passing. Or we just see it as an audience. Then he opens up a gag book, which smokes. And we see someone running through the house in a costume. And I think she's in a costume from Faust, but now it looks like a costume where she's trick-or-treating. And Buster Keaton's character says, I have no treats, and I don't want to be tricked. And she says, I must trick you. He runs up the stairs, then slides down the stairs. Oh, no, she was not from Faust. Then the two of the characters from Faust run in. And Keaton says, that's strange. She was sitting on the floor. And then the person from the red spandex runs in. Then Keaton says, well, this is confusing. So he tries to spy on the room they ran into. He looks around the curtains. Then he tries to go in the opposite direction. Goes into another room. Hears something. And then he picks up a vase. But the authority figures are still trying to get him. Then he runs back up the stairs, jumps before they slide him. Then we see another room with the lights out. I can't really make out what's happening. There does seem to be something moving in there. Maybe one of the Faustians, or the opera. And then he turns on the light. Now he has a candlestick. Two of the characters from Faust run into one room. Keaton's walking down the hall, kind of pretending like he's minding his own business, almost forgets about the stairs, then tests them out. And then he sits down on his rear end and tries to slide down the stairs like for fun. They don't start sliding, so he walks downstairs, then slides down them. So the stairs are kind of taunting him. Then we see the mustache twirler who's being followed by the bank. Okay, so there's even more layers to this. Okay, so the mustache twirler is being followed by the banker's daughter, I believe. He sneaks into the basement of this house of no trick-or-treating where his team is making fake money and pretending to be trick-or-treaters. They say, by the way, that dude's upstairs from the bank, the cashier. He sends 2 trick-or-treaters up there. He says, ask him for tricks and not treats. Then the daughter, goes down in something that ends up in the basement. And he finds her, the mustache twirler, twirls his mustache and says, oh, you're the banker's daughter. I mean, I just saw you and now we'll keep you company. Then Buster Keaton runs into the red spandex character who, kind of just stares him down. Looks a little bit like Carrie Hughes from Princess Bride. And they literally have a staring contest. Buster Keaton has no idea this guy's just an actor and that he's real, so he tries to touch him. And the guy says, I thought we were having a staring contest. And he goes, harumph, and he crosses his arms. And then he says, what's going on here? And Buster Keaton says, these stairs, man, they're the worst. Then Buster Keaton's going on a tirade. He sees one of the trick-or-treaters, climbs up the balcony, then gets caught in curtains, still has glue on. Oh, no, it's the cape from the red spandex guy. Then he sees again another trick-or-treater. He does a great physical thing. That's about 1428. Then he sits in a chair and, we're sending our love to the next existence of Pee-wee, Paul Rubens. But there's a version, I'm not even kidding. This is not like 1447. There's a version of Cherry, the chair that hugs you with love. And it says, I'm Cherry, pull yourself up a chair. Then there's more trick-or-treaters, and Buster Keaton decides to follow them, and they start putting together an animatronic. This is not a joke. So 2 trick-or-treaters are putting together an animatronic, and it's an amazing effect because, wow, that is cool. So talk about high-end effects for me. And the animatronic then says, I got no strings to pull me down. Buster Keaton says, I can't believe this. Then he sees the Faustian actors. They say, dude, come with me. He says, please don't make me sit through a whole performance of Faust. I don't have any lettuce. And he says, listen, we're just here. We're in the same boat as you, man. Then they see the two trick-or-treaters who say, we'll take your wife trick-or-treating. Then there's, man, this is, wow, there's so many quick things. Then there's a person that says, I'm from that movie, Sleepy Hollow, but I'm walking. Hold on to this for me. Then there's another version of Cherry, but it's a blanket and says, I'm Blanky. I'm going to surprise you for trick-or-treating. And Buster Keaton says, no, you got to be kidding me. Runs off again, slides down the stairs. Kevin McCallister then runs up the stairs, is surprised again. Can't get up them. Then sees somebody else. It says, hey, I'm a cat person. Then he goes in another room like someone dressed as Socrates is in there. And then he does a running in place gag while Socrates holds onto his shirt coat. And Socrates says, I'm just going to talk to you about stuff for a while. Buster Keaton keeps running in place. We see that the floor. Then he says, he literally says, smell my breath. Then the actor that looks like Carrie Hughes does some dancing. He sees a trick-or-treater. He leaves the house, but he's smoking. He's got a fog machine. So he comes out. All the authority figures say there's a smoking person in red spandex. Then Buster Keaton sees two of the trick-or-treaters enjoying a snack. He says, they found treats, so I don't have to worry. So now he knows all the trick-or-treaters already have treats. So he ignores them as they go through the house. Then he blows a whistle. We don't hear it, obviously, and holds his arms up to get them to stop, kind of because they keep walking through the halls. Then somebody says, they run downstairs and they say, hey, boss, there's actually somebody in here, maybe from another world. Buster Keaton puts his head through the banister. Big mistake. Don't ever do that. But he gets out. Another stair gag. He's at the top of the stairs, pauses again, and then slides down the banister. Of course, that impacts his rear end. He gets off and still has to slide down the stairs again. Then he sees another trick-or-treater. Says, I think I'll surprise that trick-or-treater. Goes to surprise them. And then he says, I'm going to dress up like a trick-or-treater. Then the authority figures come in. They fall downstairs. And then we realize now the mustache twirler says, well, the authority figures are here. You won't be doing any trick-or-treating now, see? But then Buster Keaton reveals that Buster Keaton was, so then we get our quick resolution, Deus ex machina, in some sense, costuma. So somehow we missed the part where he went downstairs in his costume, but he had figured out what was happening. Goes downstairs, helps the authority figures catch the mustache twirler, bank president's daughter, who she says, literally my hero. But wait a second, but then, well, this is interesting. But the thing was that, so I guess we get one more wraparound. There's only a minute left, but he before he leaves, the mustache twirler says, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, take a nap to Buster Keaton. So he takes a nap. So then he wakes up. He's in a dream world where two children, he's dressed as some sort of Grecian, like he's going to a toga party. Then there's two little girls dressed as angels. And he puts his hat on and they say one final gag for the love of Oh, no, oh, yeah, it is. So then he starts going up the stairs, maybe. He's literally climbing a stairway to heaven, but possibly for a gag. And it's a long stairway. So it goes up one sequence away from the angel girls into another sequence where it's against the clouds in the sky. And there's angels with like pan flutes on either side. Then he goes up again and a whole nother screen, another set of angels, and then a doorway, climbing a stairway to heaven. I don't know what other parts of the song, but he gets to the top, and there's someone at the top. I think that's supposed to be St. Peter, maybe? Buster Keaton, now he looks like he's in a bath, like I don't know, like more like, I guess it's not a toga anymore. He has his like cap on. He hands something to St. Peter. St. Peter says, not a chance, man. Then he pulls the thing down and the stairs become a slide, and it's a super slide. And oh boy, then it becomes a swirly slide, a corkscrew slide. And this is a great gimmick, actually. And this is like what I wrote about one time in a poem. You said mine was an elevator, but so he keeps going through the earth all the way to under earth, meets the actual person in red spandex who says, "Today bulletin," and it says Keaton, and it goes from out to in. They move a slider so that Buster Keaton has arrived. And he says, "Come over here." And then another assistant says, "Get over there." But then he wakes up and in the arms of the president of the bank's adult daughter, who says, "Thank goodness," and then it goes to the end. So very packed with action towards the end. Probably the main thing I would have changed is like a little bit less of the stare gags and like shorten the money gag around just to stretch out the end a little. Obviously I'm not for a sleep podcast, I stretched the whole thing out. I put 30 extra minutes on a 20-minute short, but that was just to put you to sleep in a dreamy world where movies, this one particularly had no sound. Even on the version I had, it had no music even. So the silent film made into rambles. Good night, everybody. All right, I want to thank everybody who became a patron recently. I want to thank Kelly, Bishop, and Marco. Thanks, and good night. Nick, Lauren, and Claire. Thank you, thanks, and good night. Chris, Eveline, and Krista. Thank you, thanks, and good night. Matthew, Robin, and Katie. Thank you, thanks, and good night. Claudette, Tim, and Robin. Thank you, thanks, and good night. Daniel, Katie, and Carolyn. Thank you, thanks, and good night. Holly, Ann, and Dee. Thank you, thanks, and good night. Garrett, Hayden, and Annalise. Thank you, thanks, and good night. Will, Tatiana, and Jordan. Thank you, thanks, and good night. And Jonathan, Heather, and Uliana. Thank you, thanks, and good night. Thanks, and good night, everybody who supports the show directly through subscriptions, wherever you subscribe and pay for a free podcast. You're a rebel with a cause. Wild behavior, paying for something to get value out of. And, of course, you get that sweet bonus content. And then what else? There's people that support the sponsors and spread the word about the sponsors. But there's a lot of free people who listen to the free show who aren't in a position to support the sponsors or support them. So not only do they benefit from the people that support the sponsors, support the show directly, but those people choose to spread the word about the show and let people know about the show, answer Q&As or whatever it is, participate online in the show's community, or let people know about the podcast in the communities they're a part of, or say, hey, this is my favorite episode of Sleep With Me, or this is the app I listen to Sleep With Me in. And that's a gigantic way to help the podcast out too. So I appreciate that. And, that's it. Thanks. Thanks and good night, everybody. Scoots may be coming up here with a Tuck You In sponsor or asking for something. And that's really how we got to the point where now we have 600 ad-supported shows ready to go. So you can pick and choose what works best for you. Thanks and good night. Hey, everybody, this is Scoots. Before you go to sleep here, this is just a Tuck You In message for super fans of the show, super listeners, people that listen all night long, people that fall asleep fast. Maybe I caught you somehow. People that listen 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 episodes a week. People that have listened longer than a year, longer than 3 years, longer than 5 years. If your life has changed, I've been saying this since April in a really direct way, but if the podcast makes your life better, it has changed your life and it's not replaceable. Like if you have something you could replace this podcast with, don't worry about it. But if you say, man, I'd have trouble replacing this show. Scoots didn't make the show anymore. I don't know how I feel about somebody else making the show. If Sleep With Me was just gone, or if it was behind a paywall, if there was less episodes, less free, or if the show was just not there, would you miss it? Would it be hard for you to replace it? If that's the case, please consider supporting the show. Test it out even. Just sign up right now. Don't wait till tomorrow. Because most people that wait for tomorrow wait a few years, to be honest, or maybe never support the show. It's always tomorrow. Don't wait till tomorrow. If you're going to miss a show, support it right now. Set up the bonus content tomorrow when you're rested. But you could do that. sleepwithmepodcast.com/plus. sleepwithmepodcast.com/plus. Then you don't have to worry about any of this. And also, like a lot of people that aren't in a position to support the show or having to cut back right now, you'll be supporting the show for them too, which is pretty cool. But if you've been thinking about it and you haven't done it, you're who I'm trying to get a hold of. Because a lot of people, more people have decided they're not going to support the show than support the show. But it's the people in the middle that I just can't quite get a hold of that are going to change the future of the podcast either way. So if you're one of them and you'd miss a show, support it. sleepwithmepodcast.com/plus. Thanks.